This time we present to you about consecutive and simultaneous interpreting within the black box. 本期節目內容為有關交替和同聲傳譯，傳譯員的黑盒子。This podcast is prepared and recorded by Eddie Kwan, Evelyn Wu, Eunice Lam, Michelle Lam, and Vicky Ng. It is produced and edited by Dr. Janice Pan. The jingle is produced by Mr. Matthew Tong. Copyright of this podcast belongs to Interlink. 本播客由關志恒、胡文欣、林子柔、林佩儀、吳永橋撰稿及錄製，潘君博士編輯及製作。Jingle 由唐毅先生提供，版權歸全心傳譯所有。
有神經學專家曾經希望研究傳譯員嘅腦部運作，而我哋今日就會分享一啲喺傳譯房入邊嘅秘密。While there are neuroscientists who wonder how the brains of interpreters work, today we are telling you the secrets within the interpreter's room.
Consecutive interpreting is a mode of interpreting in which the speaker makes a speech while the interpreter takes notes.The interpreter then reproduces what the speaker has said for the audience.
有神經學專家曾經希望研究傳譯員嘅腦部運作，而我哋今日就會分享一啲喺傳譯房入邊嘅秘密。
筆記喺交替傳譯入面扮演住重要嘅角色，係傳譯員不可或缺嘅助手嚟㗎。考慮到交替傳譯嘅方式，如果唔寫低啲可以勾起記憶嘅筆記，傳譯員係不可能記住長達10到60分鐘嘅演講嘅。根據 Andrew Gillis 嘅講法，交替傳譯中嘅筆記係骨架結構嘅代表。筆記嘅目的經常被視為記低一啲抽象、全局性嘅概念嘅過程。為咗令筆記發揮呢個重要嘅作用，佢必須要係私人嘅，而且可以方便咁樣檢索要傳譯嘅講話內容。出於呢個原因，傳譯員必須建立自己嘅筆記系統，以便能夠有效咁樣使用呢啲筆記。發展個人嘅筆記系統亦都有助於養成習慣㗎，例如整合同符號化內容嘅習慣，呢個係傳譯過程一個重要嘅方面。一般嚟講，喺整筆記嘅時候，經常用一啲符號，咁樣就可以有效地將演講者嘅觀點概念化，避免遺留咗信息。因為將觀點符號化，比起喺記事本上面寫短句或者句子仲更加快。但係呢種情況下，我哋首先必須要熟悉呢個講者嘅主題同埋自己嘅符號系統。記筆記嘅步驟包括聽同分析、記筆記、短期記憶操作同協作。Generally speaking, symbols are often used in note-taking for a higher efficiency as they can conceptualize the ideas of the speaker and avoid missing information.Because symbolizing the ideas is faster than writing phrases or sentences in the notepad. However, in this case, we have to be familiarized with the topic and our own system of symbol. Phases of note-taking include listening and analyze, note-taking, short-term memory operations, coordinations of these tasks. Then we proceed to phase 2. We may need to do note reading, remembering, and production.Notes we jot down, however, cannot include the whole speech given by the speaker, since jotting down all the information is not realistic and even impossible to achieve. If we get disturbed when taking notes, or if the notes become unclear or illegible, our production will not be fluent because we may need to spend more effort to figure out what we wrote.
Interpreting is about communicating and conveying messages from the speaker.While intonation can have a huge effect on the meaning of a conversation, The interpreter should also try to follow and convey the meanings out. Expressing clearly and accurately are very essential and interpreting and crucial part of the communicating as well. Getting the message wrong can lead to misconception. For example, this case will happen in a joke. 咁所以傳譯員應該要了解講者嘅語調嘅重要性，而我哋亦都要避免單一嘅語調，因為咁樣可能會隱藏咗原本嘅意思。但係傳譯員亦都冇必要表現得過激或者情緒化。
Interpreting requires a tremendous amount of energy, and interpreters are prone to fatigue after about 15 minutes of interpreting. Suggested by the supervisor, it is our company practice to have a companion, or what we call a backup interpreter, to share the responsibility. The duty of the backup interpreter is to jot down every info that the primary interpreter may miss in his or her notes. The interpreter pad would be the main medium for communication, which reflects the interpreter's collaborative effort. The information to be included in the interpreter's pad are numbers, names for people and places, and year, to name a few. The backup interpreter should also help the primary interpreter to refer to the glossary list for the key terms. Of course, the backup interpreter would take up the duty for interpreting after fatigue hits the primary interpreter. This time, we present to you about consecutive and simultaneous interpreting within the black box. 本期節目內容為有關交替和同聲傳譯，傳譯員的黑盒子。
同聲傳譯係一種傳譯模式。同聲傳譯係指講者發表言論，而傳譯員同時用另一種語言重整佢嘅言論，好俾佢嘅觀眾可以理解佢嘅發言。While there are neuroscientists who wonder how the brains of interpreters work, today we are telling you the secrets within the interpreter's room. 你可能會問，當講者仲講緊嘢嘅時候，傳譯員點樣可以聽住嚟即時翻譯？點解傳譯員可以喺好少甚至冇延遲嘅情況下開始講嘢？但實際上，對一啲傳譯員嚟講，同聲傳譯可能更加容易，因為同聲傳譯唔需要傳譯員透過短期記憶或者係速寫筆記嘅協助嚟進行翻譯。我哋作為傳譯員，通常會同講者講嘢保持一定嘅距離。我哋將呢種嘅距離或者延遲叫做聽譯時間差 （decalage） 或者係英文入邊嘅 ear-voice span。聽譯時間差係指從講者講嘢開始到傳譯員開始傳譯之前嘅時間長度。照理嚟講，較長嘅聽譯時間差準確性會更加高，以便傳譯員喺開口之前就獲得更加多嘅資料。業內普遍認為每分鐘100至120字係英語演講嘅最佳速度，而通常情況下最佳聽譯時間差就係3至4秒。但係由於講稿嘅難度同複雜性因場合而異，傳譯員仍然需要每一次都幫自己調整最適當嘅聽譯時間差。
In the last part, we will share with you a training method for simultaneous interpreters. According to Geoff Watt's article published on BBC News in 2014, titled The Amazing Brains of the Real-Time Interpreters, simultaneous interpreting is a task even computers could not handle, but the human brain is capable. He states that neuroscientists found out that the area in the brain, the caudate nucleus, could be playing an important role in simultaneous interpreting. Although non-language specific, the caudate nucleus processes functions related to learning and memory. Simultaneous interpreting requires interpreters to speak and listen to the speaker's output at the same time. Normally, an untrained person would find it difficult to speak while listening because of the huge workload our brain has to process and attention split. For trained interpreters, we would practice shadowing, repeating exactly what a speaker says at different speeds, from slow to quick speed. By doing this, we can train our muscle memory of talking while listening. Moreover, at a more advanced level, we would practice shadowing along with note-taking at the same time. This would enhance the ability of splitting our attention so we could perform better in speaking and listening simultaneously. We shared with you today some of the tips and skills in consecutive and simultaneous interpreting. We hope our podcast enriches your knowledge in the field of interpreting. If you are interested in more of our podcasts, please feel free to check them out on our Interlink website. Thank you for listening to Interlinkcast Community Interpreting 101。今日我哋分享咗關於交替傳譯同埋同聲傳譯嘅貼士同埋技巧，希望我哋嘅播客能夠增加大家對傳譯呢個行業嘅認識。如果你對我哋嘅其他播客有興趣，歡迎瀏覽我哋嘅全心傳譯網站收聽。多謝收聽傳譯原味，傳譯原味，傳譯原味。
This podcast is prepared and recorded by Eddie Kwan, Evelyn Wu, Eunice Lam, Michelle Lam, and Vicky Ng. It is produced and edited by Dr. Janice Pan. The jingle is produced by Mr. Matthew Tong. Copyright of this podcast belongs to Interlink. 本播客由關志恒、胡文欣、林子柔、林佩儀、吳永橋撰稿及錄製，潘君博士編輯及製作。Jingle 由唐毅先生提供，版權歸全心傳譯所有。